Hello boys, welcome to this lesson. On the last occasion we completed reading the first stanza of C Finger, and today we shall continue our reading. Today we shall try to complete the second stanza, the second quatrain. In the first stanza, I have told you, the poet describes his likings, his demand, though those are not quite difficult to get, the demands to go to the sea, to meet up his irresistible desire for sea voyaging. Now, we shall start reading the second quatrain, the second stanza. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. That is the first rhymed couplet of this quatrain. I must go down to the seas again. You see that the clause I must go down to the seas again has been repeated in this stanza also, as I have told you earlier. And it is also followed by a prepositional phrase, the call of the running tide. This phrase is related to the remaining part of the line by the preposition for. So this is a prepositional phrase. But what is amazing here, what is a new thing here, that is here the call of the running tide, the line ends here, but the meaning of the sentence, meaning of the line does not come to an end here. It continues to the next line. The call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. So, the meaning of the first line is not completed in that line, and the meaning is continuing to the second one. Such lines are called run-on lines. So, these two are run-on lines, and the first line is a run-on line. What does the poet want to say here? I must go down to the seas again. I have no other option than to go to the sea again, to make the voyage again, because here for means because. It denotes the reason of his thought, of his wandering. Because the call of the running tide is a wild call. Wild, here wild means something irresistible. And a clear call, because I must go down to the seas again, because the running tide calls me wildly. The running tide is calling me in an irresistible manner. And it's a clear call. I can distinctly hear the call of the running tide, and that may not be denied. And I cannot deny that call. I cannot refuse that call. I must respond to that call of the running tide and the wild call of the running tide and the call of the seas. Here, just notice one thing. Call has been repeated, the word call has been repeated very closely in a very small gap. He repeats the word call here just to signify the irresistible pull or summon from the sea. The sea is calling him so irresistible manner, in a so irresistible manner that he cannot deny it, and to signify this irresistible call, here he repeats the word call in a very little gap. This is the significance of the poetic dictions. You know, the poets never use a word in a futile way, uselessly. They never use any word uselessly. There is the significance behind the use of each word of a great poet. So, here call has been repeated only to denote the irresistible manner of the call. So, in the first rhymed couplet, the poet tells us that he must make his voyage again only because he cannot uh, resist. He has no other way than to respond to the very distinct and irresistible call of the seas, of the running tide. He cannot deny it. And all I ask, now the second rhymed couplet, and all I ask is a windy day, and all I ask, my boys, just notice this phrase, and all I ask. This has also a great significance. Here, the poet seems, and all I ask, আমি শুধু যা চাই। আমরা যখন বাংলায় এই কথাটা বলি, আমি শুধু এটুকুই চাই, তখন আমরা কি বলতে চাই যে আমার চাওয়াটা খুব বেশি নয়। I do not want a lot of things. My demand is very little. আমরা তো এটাই বলতে চাই। And all I ask, this denotes the poet seems to be emphasizing the simplicity of marine life. Whenever you are in the seas, you do not have much requirement. Your demands must be very small, very little. Okay, because life on board is a very simple life. Is a very simple life in contrast to um, the complications that we often face in our day-to-day life. So, the marine life is much simpler than our normal life on land. And to denote this fact, he uses the phrase, and all I ask. Do you understand what I am saying? তিনি এই and all I ask এই ফ্রেজটার মধ্যে দিয়ে আমাদের বোঝাতে চেয়েছেন যে সমুদ্রে যখন মানুষ জাহাজ নিয়ে যায়, সেখানে তো অনেক কিছু পাওয়ার নেই, সেখানে অ্যামাজন নেই, সেখানে বড় বড় শপিং মল নেই, সেখানে বাবাকে বললাম বাবা আমি একটুখানি ম্যাকডোনাল্ডসে খাবো, নেই তো, সমুদ্রের মধ্যে ম্যাকডোনাল্ডস আর কোথায় পাওয়া যাবে। তো আমাদের প্রতিদিনের জীবনে আমরা অহেতুক অনেক কিছু চাই, এত কিছু দরকার হয় না জীবনে। এই ধর না, এখনকার কথাই ধর, এই যে আমরা লকডাউনের মধ্যে বেঁচে আছি, দেখ সবাই কিন্তু পরিবারের সঙ্গে, যদি করোনার ভয়টা আছে একটু আধটু, কিন্তু বাড়ির বাইরে না বেরোলে তো করোনার ভয় নেই। তো সেখানে কিন্তু আমরা তত একটা ভয় নেই, বাড়ির বাইরে যেহেতু বেরোচ্ছি না, আমরা কিন্তু ভালোই আছি। অনেক পাচ্ছি না, তোদের বন্ধু বান্ধবের সাথে দেখা হচ্ছিল সেটা আলাদা ব্যাপার, অনেক পাচ্ছি না, তাতে কিন্তু খুব যে একটা কষ্ট হচ্ছে তা না। তার মানে আমাদের চাওয়াগুলো অনেকটাই আমাদের এই শহুরে জীবনের বানিয়ে তোলা চাওয়া। এটা কবির সময়েও সত্য ছিল। It was true even in those days. And that is why he uses the term, he uses the poetic diction, and all I ask. This denotes the simplicity of marine life that is absolutely in contrast with our day-to-day life on land. And all I ask, and all I ask is a windy day. I do not require much things, many things. I do not require a lot of things. I only require a windy day with the white clouds flying. Try to understand the line. Try to understand this expression. The poet requires only a windy day, not stormy day, but windy day. A day with full of favorable, conducive wind, conducive to making voyage. So he asks for, he demands a day with favorable wind, with the white clouds flying. Again, the color of the clouds. Just try to notice the color of the clouds. With white clouds flying. White clouds do not tell us of the ensuing storm or inclement weather. White clouds are pleasant to look at, but they do not tell us of inclement weather. So, he wants white clouds, white cloudlets, strips of clouds. Clouds, the word clouds may also be noted. Clouds, we know, cloud is a uncountable noun. But the poet uses clouds. And it's a very common use among the poets. Keats, in her famous sonnet, the poet John Keats, one of the best romantic poets, uh, in his famous sonnet, to one who has been long in city pent, also used clouds. And here clouds means strips of cloud, small pieces of cloud. So he demands a day with favorable wind and white clouds flying, very favorable cloudlets, very pleasant looking cloudlets floating across the sky. Okay? Because such weather is conducive to making voyage. I am using conducive to making voyage. You may be surprised because after to, the verb should be the main form of the verb. But I am using conducive to making because you know when to is used as a preposition, after that gerund is used. It is not infinitive. That is why to is an appropriate preposition after conducive, and that is why here I am saying conducive to making, not conducive to make. Conducive to make is a wrong English. Conducive to making voyage. Okay. As for example, I want to go there, but I object to going there. Okay. Now, let us go back to the poem. So, the demand of the poet is very little. He just wants a very favorable day with favorable wind and white cloudlets floating across the sky, and the flung spray and the blown spume. Flung means hurled or forcefully thrown, যা সজোরে ছুড়ে দেয়া হয়েছে এমন. And the flung spray means liquid blown or driven through air in droplets. আমরা স্প্রে বলতে আমরা যখন কোনো বোতল থেকে আমরা যখন সেন্ট স্প্রে করি তখন সেটা তো স্প্রে করাই তো বলি, তাই না? তো স্প্রে মিন্স ছোট ছোট ড্রপলেট যদি খুব জোরে দ্রুত যদি চালিত হয় বাতাসে, দ্যাট ইজ কল্ড স্প্রে. অ্যান্ড দ্য ফ্লাং স্প্রে, আমি চাই, আই ওয়ান্ট দ্য ড্রপলেটস অফ সি ওয়াটার blowing around me, and the blown spume means the foam of sea water. The foam of sea water, সমুদ্রের জলের ফেনা, তাকে বলে spume. And I would like to have the floating sea foam all around, and the seagulls cry, and I want the shrill sound of the seagulls. Seagull, you know, you have learned it in class 9 about the seagulls. Seagull is a bird which can fly high and again can land on water and catch fish. And the shrill sound of the seagulls. So here the poet places another demand. That is the demand at the time of his voyage. Here he wants very, very few things. He asks a favorable day with favorably windy day and the white cloudlets floating across the sky and the spray and the foam of the sea, and also he wants to hear the shrill sound of the seagulls. So we have completed reading the second quatrain, the second stanza. And what does the poet want to say here? In the second stanza, the poet tells us about his voyage, and the stanza appeals to all five sense organs. Just try to find this stanza makes an appeal to all our five sense organs. The poet's description here allows the readers to feel like they are standing on the shore, as if while we are reading the stanza, while we are reading the quatrain, we feel that we are standing on the shore, listening to the seagulls cry, and we can hear the shrill sound of the seagulls, watching the white clouds flying, and we are also watching the white cloudlets floating across the sea, feeling the coldness of the windy day and the saltiness of the flung spray. So, this stanza is a very great image. It creates a great imagery. Here we find a great imagery on the part of the poet. He makes a very vivid image, very picturesque description of his voyage. Okay, my boys, today is enough. We shall read the third stanza tomorrow. We shall go to the third stanza and the final stanza tomorrow. So, tomorrow we shall complete reading this poem, and after that we shall work out the exercise, the activities. Goodbye today.